2025, we are just days into the new year, and the city is already seeing horrific crimes.
New York is getting out of control.
A mass shooting rocks Queens the first night of the new year. Plus, a postal worker stabbed to death inside a deli. And a surge in subway violence has commuters on edge. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. It is a grim start to the new year, as our first crime of 2025 is a mass shooting in Queens. 10 people were injured when several gunmen opened fire outside a nightclub in Jamaica, Queens.
Let's get right to Good Day's Briella Tomasetti. She is live outside that party hall in Jamaica with the latest. Briella.
Shani and Dan, good morning to both of you. Police have not pinned down a motive right now, but they have confirmed that this was not an act of terrorism. They're currently investigating whether the shooting may have been gang-related. They're also looking for a light-colored sedan they are hoping will bring them one step closer to the suspects. Investigators say they received 911 calls for multiple people shot outside the Amazura event hall at around 11:18 last night. Police rushed to the crime scene located at 91st Avenue and 144th Place, where they say about 90 people were inside at a private event upstairs. According to the NYPD, the venue was at capacity, and a queue of about 15 people had formed outside. That's when police allege 4 suspects began firing into the waiting crowd. Here's NYPD Chief of Patrol Philip Rivera with more details.
4 males were walking eastbound on 91st Avenue onto 144th Place towards the venue. 3 to 4 males then opened fire over 30 times in the direction of the group standing outside the event space, striking multiple victims.
10 victims were shot in total, 6 women and 4 men, all between 16 and 20 years old. They're being treated at local hospitals for non-life-threatening injuries. The 4 suspects ran off westbound on 91st Avenue toward 143rd Place, where they got into a light-colored sedan with out-of-state plates. Overnight, police cordoned off this area with evidence markers and crime scene tape. Amazura has the capacity for 4,000 people and regularly hosts DJs and live performances. Last April, 2 men were shot and wounded at the same venue. Neighbors are now calling for an end to the rampant gun violence.
New York is getting out of control, and these kids and these young people need to stop. This killing is unnecessary. The shooting, all this violence, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that woman said that this event was a combined birthday party and memorial for somebody in this neighborhood who had recently passed away. Police confirmed it was a private event, but are still looking into the exact circumstances, what was going on inside. To recap, all victims are expected to recover.
And just one day after that shooting, another horrifying crime, this time inside a deli in Harlem. A woman accused of stabbing a Postal Service employee to death in what police say started over who was next in line to order.
Now to that breaking news out of Harlem that we mentioned.
That's right, a postal worker dead after being stabbed to death on the job. Let's get out to Kendall Green, who's live in Harlem with the latest. Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Stephen, Teresa. We're live at this active scene. You can tell there's still plenty of police activity out here. If we're going to push in to this deli where it happened, you can still see what appears to be this postal worker's equipment still just outside the front door of this this deli. Now, the NYPD, here's what we know so far. The NYPD got the 911 call for an assault here on Malcolm X Boulevard and West 118th Street here in Harlem. They arrived here on scene to find an on-duty postal worker who had been stabbed, we're told. Now, medics rushed the 36-year-old victim to Harlem Hospital, where unfortunately doctors there pronounced him dead. Now, but for perspective, this is a postal worker, we're assuming, somewhere along his route, stabbed to death. Now, it's unclear what his relationship was with the person who stabbed him, or if they know each other, or why it happened. But we know this mailman went to work sometime today, we're sure, with the expectation to make it home, and after this stabbing, he did not. Now, the USPS, they shared a statement regarding this stabbing, sharing, quote, "The suspect was apprehended and is still in custody. USPS has taken this matters involving the safety and well-being of Postal Service employees as a top priority. We're working diligently with the New York Police Department on this investigation." Now, police have confirmed that that person was taken, a person of interest was taken into custody.
Down in Brooklyn's Coney Island station, a sleeping woman riding the train was set on fire and died. The man accused of killing her pleaded not guilty and allegedly told detectives he did not remember the attack because he was drinking.
Fox 5's Michelle Ross is live in downtown Brooklyn with the details right out of the courtroom. Michelle, what's the very latest?
Bianca, this arraignment lasted less than 5 minutes, with Sebastian Zapata entering a not guilty plea on both murder and arson charges. And the Brooklyn DA saying today also that the illegal immigrant from Guatemala was most recently living in a homeless shelter in East New York here in Brooklyn. Now, prosecutors say that he lit 57-year-old Debrina Kawam on fire last month while she was sleeping on a stopped F train at the Stillwell Avenue station in Coney Island. She was a New Jersey native but was homeless. Zapata is an illegal immigrant from Guatemala who was deported in 2018, and it's unknown when he returned to the United States. They say Zapata confirmed he was the man in surveillance images, but also said he drinks a lot of alcohol and did not remember what happened. They also allege he fanned the flames with a shirt and sat on a bench on the platform and watched her die. Clergy leaders were in the courtroom today.
What was going through their mind was, this is a murderer. This is somebody that belongs under the jail. This is somebody that needed some type of support but didn't give it. He belongs in jail. But is jail the right thing for him to have without having the support of the city, of services that the mayor and the governor are supposed to be able to provide? That's the question to be asked.
They also say that the family is asking for privacy right now, but there is a memorial that they encourage the public to go to. That will be on Sunday at the First Baptist Church in Sheepshead Bay. Now, as for Zapata, he's currently being held without bail. The next court date is March 12th, and the maximum sentence that he is facing is life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And finally, we end inside the Pelham Parkway subway station in the Bronx, where an MTA employee was stabbed. This is one of numerous subway incidents that have New York City commuters on edge.
Fox 5's Kendall Green joins us live from the Pelham Parkway station in the Bronx, where an MTA worker was stabbed today. Kendall.
Hey, good evening, Steve and Teresa. The broader story here is just about every day this week, there's been some type of major crime on the rails or a new development in a major crime on the rails, and today is no different. Now, police report an MTA worker was stabbed in the armpit here at the Pelham Parkway subway station this morning around 6 o'clock. This happened after some sort of argument took place, while the details and nature of that argument remain unknown by authorities. But the MTA employee was taken to a nearby hospital where at last check, they were reported in stable condition. Now, police report the suspect is between 50 and 60 years old with a beard, last seen in all black clothes, still on the loose. Now, yesterday in Hell's Kitchen, two men stabbed each other surrounding some type of fight around 2 in the morning. Police reported the stabbing at West 49th Street and 8th Avenue, where one man was stabbed in the hand and the other was stabbed in the stomach. Both were taken to area hospitals in stable condition, while charges are still pending. And on Tuesday, just the day before, police charged a 23-year-old man after randomly pushing a victim onto the subway tracks in Chelsea. Around 1:30 that afternoon, at the 18th Street station, police say Kamal Hawkins shoved a man onto the subway tracks just before he was struck by a number 1 train. Now, that victim was rushed to the Bellevue Hospital in critical but stable condition. Meanwhile, police charged Hawkins with second-degree attempted murder and assault. Now, it's worth noting Tuesday was the same day police identified the woman burned to death on the F train in Coney Island. This happened, sparking nationwide outrage on Sunday before Christmas, and we now know the murder victim was 57-year-old Debrina Kawam, a Jersey resident. She was burned to death, according to police, by 33-year-old Guatemalan migrant Sebastian Zapata Khalil. Now, prosecutors say he's facing charges including first-degree murder, 3 counts of second-degree murder and arson, and strap hangers are sharing their concern amid the latest string of violence on the rails.
There's always something. Someone's always angry. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just always violence.
I've seen a lot of news recently, like on things that have been happening around here, like somebody was pushed in the subway, lady was set on fire. So it is kind of scary, like having to keep an eye peeled, especially walking around with her. So that is something I've been trying to be aware of throughout the time. It is scary.
Now, to put those concerns in proper context, between 2019 and last year, 2024, felony assaults are up 65% on the rails, and those numbers specifically in 2019, there were 374 felony assaults. Last year, there were 579.
That's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.